Greetings, worldwide fans of the planet's hottest entertainment with an edge. Jaime En Fuego here, and I welcome you to my namesake program, Enfuegotainment. Damn Reezy for another Fresca Fuego review, and this one is especially special here on September 2nd because it's Keanu Reeves' birthday! Yeah, I'm not going to tell y'all how old he is, but I do believe he has ventured into the 5th decade, but nonetheless, we are talking Bill and Ted Face the Music that just recently hit select theaters, but primarily premium VOD. Have to give a big shout out to my horror show co-host Cecil Laird, who decided to purchase this at that $25 price point digitally, and that's how I got to watch it. So very cool of him to give me the opportunity. And yeah, Alex Winter's returning, the same writing duo and stuff returning. They did bring on the Galaxy Quest director, if I'm not mistaken, to do this one. But yeah, fast forward like 30-something years into the future, and they have daughters. They're dudes in their middle age. It's Bridget something Payne, but most notably Samara Weaving, respectively, as the daughters of Bill and Ted. And yes, they were supposed to write this wonderful song that saved the entire universe, and not just the entire universe, but like all of space and time. Like, they went that nuts with it in Bogus Journey. And the one thing that I will say is that I always appreciated the hell out of Bill and Ted, but those first two films, while I really dug them, they weren't in the upper echelon of like that stoner rocker kind of stuff for me. I mean, there was always more so Dazed and Confused and like, you know, the Wayne's World films and stuff like that, but I always really dug Bill and Ted. Especially, there's some people who prefer excellent, and there's some people who prefer bogus, and I was always a little more on the Bogus Journey side, just for the sheer fact that it was so bonkers nuts. It was originally titled Bill and Ted Go to Hell, which anybody who has seen Bogus Journey knows that's what transpires in that film. But I mean, they're both great, and just the connection with the characters, their chemistry, their bromance is just it's awesome, and it's endearing, and it's really cool. And yeah, man, I mean, rest peacefully, obviously, George Carlin as Rufus, who was a very crucial portion of the dynamic in those first two films. And with him no longer being with us, there was a lot of skepticism, and you know, skepticism aside, returning 30 years later to these characters aside, dare I say I love this movie, and I've seen it get some hate, you know, whatever, like, they seem so tired and, you know, blah blah, just like worn down. And yeah, that's exactly the idea of this. They're middle-aged dads who never reached the potential that they were predicted to and were supposed to. And as you find out right at the beginning of the movie, as their daughters are kind of telling the situation, they talk about the fall, the decline of the Wild Stallions after that amazing concert where they were playing the Kiss song, God Gave Rock and Roll to You. I think it was actually God Gave Rock and Roll to You Part 2, but regardless, nonetheless, you know, death, William Sadler, I think his name is, Sadler, Adler, god damn it, I feel like an idiot, but nonetheless, Death as their bass player. It's a terrific ending to a film. Probably one of the reasons why I love Bogus Journey so much is because I love that end concert sequence. It's so fun. And, you know, aside from them playing like Twister and stuff with Death, it's just so goofy, so nuts. And but yeah, so it is a true like third part of a trilogy, a true sequel in that regard, rounding out the, you know, actual tale of these two goofballs. And yeah, the band, without spoiling too much stuff, you have to imagine that if 30 years later they still haven't written the song, that the band broke up, and they amusingly talk about just how things, you know, just declined, as I said. And so that was interesting. And then you see that they're still trying to write the song at the beginning of the movie once we catch up with Bill and Ted themselves, you know, with Alex and with Keanu. And they have such a funny bit at this wedding, and just who is getting married is one of the most redonkulously silly things imaginable, and they play that joke up really, really well. And then you also realize that there is some strife with their princesses, you know, that they, I believe they took the princesses in the original movie, if I remember correctly, and then it just wasn't really addressed as much in part 2. But yeah, man, I mean, it's everything that they're experiencing as far as like early midlife or midlife or whatever you want to say. I mean, that's the thing, because there was probably 20-somethings who saw this movie and now they're in their 50s and they can relate to this perfectly. Or somebody like me who, you know, in my 30s at this point, saw this when I was super little And yeah, I mean, it's very relatable, this sort of just, what have we been trying to do? Have we been trying in vain? Is this even a possibility to transpire? Can we really do this? And there is a really interesting garage scene of self-doubt where Keanu is talking about selling his guitar, and Winters is just like, whoa. I always get mixed up which one is Bill and which one is Ted. I'm sorry, guys. I killed all those brain cells back in the day. And yeah, but nonetheless, just that moment of just about to throw in the towel, despite the fact that both of their daughters, who are spitting images of them, I mean, Samara does a really good job as Alex Kidd, but Alex Winters, that is. But Bridget as Keanu's, like, she really sells it, man, and she is hilarious. Both of them have good chemistry as well, and but yeah, their daughters still believe in them, and their daughters are, despite demeanor and kind of some of the same just mannerisms and goofyisms of their fathers, they're actually insanely into music as well, and just very well versed and talented themselves, and actually have real jobs in comparison with their pops, who have been just kind of slogging along. And so yeah, they are basically put on the spot by Rufus's daughter, and they're like, we have to figure out this situation or all of reality is going to unravel because you guys took so goddamn long. And that's essentially the crux to it, without spoiling too much more. And as you've seen in the trailers, their daughters try to start assembling a band of the most popular and renowned musicians back all throughout history, and at around the same time, their fathers are determined to go forward in time to when they finally do write the song as they were predicted to, and steal it from ourselves, dude. And those were the scenes from the trailer where they're all buffed up and stuff. I was like, it's like, this is gonna be really stupid, but I have to say, it's actually hilarious because we get a few different timelines. So they go forward a couple years, and then they go forward a couple more years, and those scenes, man, they charmed me, and they also just gave a really just very kind of harsh reality to, I don't know, if you don't just reach the potential that you were positive that you could, or that you were assured that you could, and just how that can leave somebody feeling very downtrodden, and just the self-doubt. And once the self-doubt creeps in with a creative person, from Bill and Ted to even something relatable to me, that's where you can almost sabotage yourself. You can second guess yourself, and each scenario that they go forward to is increasingly more amusing without spoiling it. And those bits were terrific, man, because they're playing themselves, and then they're also playing future versions of themselves interacting. And I laughed my ass off. It was terrific. And there's also a couples therapy bit with both of them and both of their princesses, and we're a couple of couples, I don't know, maybe the humor is not for everybody, but the one major thing that I will say is the most bueno about this is that this movie, despite having way more, not despite, I mean to its props, to its to its positivity of the fact that it was just it had more feels than I was expecting. It also it's a celebration of music in a lot of ways. And I was talking with my guitar player Mahalo just yesterday about this movie, and he's like, yeah, but both movies previously were, and I suppose they were to a degree, but nowhere near just at the forefront that they put it of in this. And it's really about just persevering regardless of the adversity, creating regardless of the outcome. And yeah, I legit really dug the hell out of this movie. Once it's on proper home release, where I can have a physical copy, because I'm one of those collectionist type people, yes, I will most definitely be adding it to the collection. I saw that there is a deluxe version of Bogus Journey that's out right now. I don't think there is of Excellent Adventure, but yeah, I already own both of those, but this almost endeared the franchise to me even more. And there is a post-credit scene. Keep your eyes out for it. And yeah, man, the music was great throughout. It was much more metal-y than I was anticipating, but I guess it was metal of that era, back when we had it in the previous two two installments. But yeah, there's like some stuff that's like bordering on like really heavy, like thrashy, almost like death kind of stuff at times. I mean, not vocal wise, but as far as the guitar work and stuff. So yeah, man, I definitely am going to give 4 out of 5 Fuego Fireballs to Bill and Ted Face the Music. It was damn good. It was entertaining. I can't remember the last time a movie this sweet made me laugh this much. I will say there is a little malo slash fail, little bad, bordering on ugly with this robot who is like a Terminator type of sorts that's going after them at one particular point without really getting too into it. But I mean, yeah, seeing Death come back and the dynamic of the daughters and everything. I mean, yeah, this was a movie that significantly surprised me because I had some worry it was gonna be sheer suctitude. I wasn't sold based on the trailers, and yeah, don't go in with like the highest expectations. It's still a Bill and Ted movie, everybody, but nonetheless, if you enjoyed the first 2, I trust you will dig the hell out of this one. So I've been Jaime En Fuego. You can find Juan on all social media sectors like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, here on YouTube. In the midst of all this madness, I haven't been as incredibly active on social media. It just kind of comes with the territory of pandemics and social unrest and all of the insanity of 2020, but that was one of the reasons why this movie was so refreshing for me, is because it's legitimately like a happy and uplifting comedy. And I feel like in a lot of ways, in like the super raunch status that so much that I've been entertained by and that seems to do well at the box office, that's what we've gravitated more so as a culture. There's more of that negativity and that cynicism, and that yes, they do make fun of these characters to a degree and the fact that they have underachieved, but they are still endeared to you. And so yes, Bill and Ted Face the Music, it's pretty great. Here on the channel, please like, share, subscribe if you haven't done it already. But if you like spectacular coverage, youtube.com/The Horror Show channel is the main area where you can see me with a much larger audience of peeps on there. Myself and Cecil just braved a theater this past week to go and see The New Mutants, and so if you have thoughts about the Fox X-Verse finale, that is over there. But yeah, I guess that's going to be the end of the proceedings from today. Oh yeah, that's right, I also reviewed Tenet here just yesterday if you're interested in that. But feliz cumpleaños, Keanu! And until the reel of Ka comes around once more, hasta luego, sin amigos, constant viewers and occasionally readers alike, say thank you for taking a little bit of time with me here today. But I am hopeful that we share more of this film palaver sooner rather than later. And until then, yeah, stay home unless you feel like braving a theater. If you feel comfortable with that, stay safe in that regard, and obviously be excellent to each other.